Have you ever felt your family wasn't what you thought? That secrets were always hidden, waiting to explode and change everything? I used to think I had a normal family. A warm home, a kind mother, and a father always busy with work. But then, one day, I found a secret that made me see my dad in a completely new light. I discovered my dad had another family. I grew up believing my family was perfect. My mom was amazing, always up early making breakfast, taking care of my siblings and me. My dad was quiet but steady. His job required him to travel, sometimes gone for a whole week. I never questioned it. To me, Dad was a busy man who still loved his family. Weekend dinners were the rare times we all got together. I remember him coming home with gifts and stories from his trips. He always told me to study hard, be good to Mom and my siblings. Those words made me trust him even more. But it turned out, I was wrong. One night, like any other, I was in bed, mindlessly scrolling through Facebook. Then, a photo popped up, stopping me cold. It was a family picture, but not my family. My dad was standing next to a strange woman. They looked close, like a real couple. But what shocked me most wasn't that. It was the boy next to them. A boy who looked just like me as a kid. I squinted, looking closer. I checked the account. A name I didn't recognize. But it was definitely my dad. No mistaking it. My hands started shaking. A strange feeling crept over me. Confusion, fear I'd never felt before. I started digging, and the pieces started falling into place. I couldn't stop. My heart pounded as I looked at the picture. My dad, the man I trusted, was with another woman and a kid I didn't know. I rushed to her profile. Not many public posts, but I scrolled down. And there were more pictures. Pictures with my dad. This time, I couldn't brush it off. These weren't random. In one, Dad was smiling, his hand on the boy's shoulder, looking at him with love, just like he used to look at me. One question haunted me. Who were they? I kept searching. I found a birthday post for the boy from a few months back. In the comments, a line chilled me to the bone. Happy birthday, my dear son. Love, Dad. It was my dad. In that moment, everything fell apart. The boy wasn't just some acquaintance's kid. He was my brother. I tried to stay calm, but my mind raced. Did Mom know? If she did, why didn't she say anything? What about my siblings? I couldn't take it anymore. I texted Dad. Dad, I need to talk. Now. I stared at my phone, waiting for a reply. 5 minutes, then 10. Nothing. My mind filled with scenarios. Was he scared? What would he say? Finally, the phone rang. It was Dad. I took a deep breath and answered. Hello? It's Dad. What's wrong? His voice was normal, like nothing was off. I gripped the phone, trying to sound calm, but my voice shook. Dad, I need to ask you something. And I need the truth. He was silent for a few seconds. I could feel the tension. Okay, ask away. His voice was lower. I took a deep breath. You have another family, don't you? Silence on the other end. I could hear him breathing, slow and heavy. My heart pounded. I wanted him to deny it, say it was a mistake, but he didn't. Who told you? His voice was serious. I laughed, though it hurt. Nobody. I found out myself. I tried to sound steady. I saw the pictures of you with that woman, and the kid. I saw your birthday message. How long were you going to hide this? Dad sighed, heavy, like he'd been keeping this secret too long. I'm sorry, son. I was going to tell you, but I didn't know how. I felt numb. I'd braced myself for this, but hearing him say it still hurt. How long, Dad? I asked, my voice tight. He paused. Before you were born. I was stunned. That meant, the woman wasn't the other woman. Mom was. Does Mom know? I asked, already knowing. Yes. Dad sounded tired. I told her from the start. But she accepted it, because she loved me and wanted this family. I couldn't believe it. My whole life, I thought my parents had a normal marriage. I never suspected another woman, another brother. So, what are we to you? I asked, trying to hide the bitterness. You're my son, always, Dad said quickly. I never loved you less. But I couldn't abandon them. They're my family too. I wanted to scream. I wanted to blame him for lying all these years. But I realized, he wasn't just a dad. He was a man with mistakes, hard choices, and consequences. Do you regret it? I asked, softer. He paused. I don't regret loving both families. But I regret hurting you. I choked up. I didn't know if I should hate him or understand. After that call, I'd never see him the same. After the call, my world felt upside down. I couldn't stop thinking. Dad had another family before I was born. Mom knew all along and stayed quiet. I didn't get it. How could she accept this? How did she handle it all these years? I went downstairs. Mom was on the couch, watching TV, but she wasn't really watching. I looked at her, feeling both sorry and angry. "Mom." My voice was rough. She looked up. She didn't seem surprised, like she knew I'd ask. "You know, don't you?" Mom said softly. I nodded, anger rising. "How long?" She paused, then sighed. "Before I married your dad." I was shocked. "Then why did you accept it? Why live like this?" She looked at me, no anger, just sadness. "Because I loved him. Simple." I choked up. I knew who he was. I knew he had responsibilities. But I also knew he loved me and wanted a family. I accepted it all, because love is sacrifice. I was mad. What about us? Didn't you think how we'd feel? Finding out our whole life was a lie? Mom teared up. "I know, I'm sorry." Her voice shook. "But I never wanted you to feel unloved. You're my son, and I tried to give you the best family I could." I looked at her, mixed emotions. How could I blame a woman who sacrificed her life for us? I sat next to her, tears falling. "I don't know what to do." She took my hand. "You don't have to decide now. But you have this family, you have me." I nodded, knowing things would never be the same. The next days were a blur. I couldn't focus on anything. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Dad with them, Mom silently accepting it all. I wanted to run, forget it. But I couldn't. One night, I got a text. "Are you his son?" A strange number. I checked the profile, and my heart jumped. It was the boy, my brother. I hesitated, then replied, "Yeah." "Are you?" "Yes. I always knew about you." "You didn't know about me, did you?" I didn't know what to say. A weird feeling, not anger, not pain, just confusion. "I just found out. I'm sorry. I don't know how you feel, but I'm not your enemy. I don't want you to hate me." I stared at the phone. I never thought about hating him. But could I accept him? I remembered Dad's words, Mom's silence. I couldn't change the past. But I could choose how to deal with it. "I don't want to hate you either. I just need time." I get it. I just wanted to say, "If you ever want to meet, I'm here." I put the phone down, taking a deep breath. So much I didn't understand. So many feelings. But I knew I couldn't live in anger. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but I had to face it. Maybe, one day, I'd be strong enough to accept it, and move on. I put my phone down and looked out the window. The night sky was quiet, street lights casting a soft glow. I took a deep breath, trying to find peace in the chaos. I couldn't change the past. Couldn't make Dad go back. Couldn't make Mom do things differently. Couldn't erase my brother. But I could choose how to see it. Dad made his choices. Mom accepted them. Now, I had to make mine. I opened my phone, reading my brother's message.